It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Anyone want to go? I'll start. I can start. I was down for the count. I would say, like, I planned to do some media on Saturday and really couldn't. Just physically felt. I mean, I was getting sick, but not just that. It was really the depression set in a way that I can't explain because I'm public now. So it yes, it hurts me, but it really hurts our survivor sisters who are still Jane Does even more. And so I just sitting with that feeling for them was something that just made me feel it it's a weird feeling. It's a feeling of shame and I felt like I couldn't shower enough. I felt dirty. I felt like I was so ashamed and frustrated and just couldn't move. So yeah, it's not great right now.
I noticed something really different this time that is really unique to me because typically I am frozen and sad and really stuck. And for the first time, I think I was angry, really angry, and could feel the fight in me rise up in more of an empowering way than I felt before, rather than a debilitating way. Yeah. And I just have to say, if there is any thought that we are planning on backing down, that should just go out of the Department of Justice's mind. We are not letting go of this at all.
I've really been feeling this combination of emotions that I have not felt before, this rage and sorrow and determination. The more this goes on and the more they continue to harm us, the more determined I am to prove them wrong. Mm-hmm. And just seeing how blatantly careless the DOJ was with redactions. I mean, I don't understand how they could have happened in the way that they did, other than to think that it's intentional. And I think that for all of us, there is so much fear and shame tied into our experiences with Epstein. And also, for me, this underlying feeling of terror and panic that has been reignited when I see how this has been rolled out. And so I'm worried for our safety, but I don't think that is going to stop any of us from our pursuit of justice.
Just seeing people's names unredacted, it's just, this isn't transparency. This is absolute re-traumatization. And also publishing images of victims while shielding predators it's just a failure of complete justice. Mm-hmm. And it's there's this deep sense of betrayal when the system's meant to protect you. And I'm a new survivor and have just come forward and I'm re-traumatized, and it's sending that message that why should anybody come forward? Because the justice system is not going to be the justice system.
And this is not just about us anymore. This is about survivors everywhere. This is about anyone who has ever been sexually victimized and has, felt like they can't tell anyone or talk to anyone about it, who has felt fearful of approaching law enforcement. We're sending a really strong message that, it's easier to remain silent.
This is a victim statement. It was 7 pages long. In a victim statement, it tells what happened, who did it. It basically outlines everything that this person experienced and shared with the FBI. It was 7 pages long, and 4 of them looked like this. So you cannot say in the same sentence, there were no men. There were no men. There was no list, and redact this much of a statement. Because if there's no men, then there's no reason to redact it.
Mhm.
There's no other reason.
That's so real, Jess, that the incompetence is the strategy. I think that this is absolutely a play by the administration to force all of our information out there so that this has to be the process.
Well, what do you guys think about this idea of just taking down the files altogether for now because the redactions were so botched? Like, is that okay with you?
Though I believe, Brad Edwards and Brittany Henderson have to look out for their victims and they have to request this. I think that's really important. If they were my attorney, I would feel the same way. Mm-hmm. As a survivor looking at it and going, we still have so much we have to get out of these files before they can be taken down because we may never see them again. Mm-hmm. I have to disagree. So it's extremely complicated because I can see both sides of it.
What do you guys think about the fact that there are millions of files that the DOJ hasn't released?
Well, if they're not protecting victims, which that is very clear that our identifying information is out there. So who are they protecting and what are those files, right? Because they're saying that it could be medical records or it's anything that's related to any victim. Well, I'm seeing medical records and I'm seeing victims, outed everywhere. So that's a pretty big number to be holding on to. We would like to see it.
Going back to the last question, the harm is already done. We are already completely re-traumatized. We're harmed. By going and taking things down, we don't have all of the information. But what really needs to be done is somebody needs to oversight this. We need to be talked to the survivors. We need to have some kind of input on all of this.
I was just going to say, it was really disturbing to me when Todd Blanche stood at that press conference and basically said, not only, are there no co-conspirators or there's no trove of men, right? But also he got up there and he said that the DOJ had been in constant contact with survivors and, we'd been consulted and anyone who wanted to talk to them has spoken to them. And that is just completely false. We have been trying to get meetings with the DOJ, practically begging.
Yes,
practically begging. And we have been ignored. And, we all know other survivors. We don't all know all of the survivors, but I think we know enough survivors amongst us to know that no one has been afforded that courtesy. And so for him, it just felt like he was up there telling lie after lie after lie after lie. And that is what we're seeing from this government. They hold these press conferences, they get up there and they gaslight people.
The primary skill and behavior of predators is lying. Mm-hmm. It's showing one thing, saying one thing, making one thing appear one way, and then doing the exact opposite. And so what this can feel like for us from a traumatic side is the clutches of a con, it being in the clutches of being gaslit again, of being shown one thing, but it was really another. And that is, I think, one of the things that makes it so infuriating for me because it's so clear now. Right? It's so clear. It's so crystal clear.
My name is not a full page. Nobody's is. This is completely ridiculous. It's a slap in the face. And it's really, really upsetting the way that the government is handling this.
If there's nothing to prosecute, then there shouldn't have been black boxes all over those files. If there was nothing to prosecute, the only thing that was supposed to be redacted was victims' names.
And if there's nothing to see here, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Get so mad when I hear his voice speaking. Because it's just a lie. It's like this really sweet lie. If there was, we would.
Well, I start yelling at the TV, Jess. I literally not to cut you off, but like every time he speaks, I'm like, "That's not true. That's not." I'm like losing my mind, screaming at my phone. I feel like a crazy person. So I hear you.
Also, the way that this has been released, it's someone said to me, it's like sifting through wreckage. It's literally like they stood on top of a building in Times Square and just let all these papers out. So there's no context, there's no coherent narrative as to what we're looking at. We already know that there is so much information that's missing.
Yeah, a document dump doesn't equal accountability at all. And this finality that he's declared from a podium and doesn't feel like justice. This is not justice for survivors at all. This is not accountability. This is not transparency. This is the exact opposite.
It's literally half the files. Like, I found the email exchange between me and Amanda, Special Agent Amanda Young, and her saying, "Thank you so much for talking to me." And it was, the conversation had been her taking my victim statement that was supposed to be used in the prosecution's case against Ghislaine Maxwell, where she explained that procedure. Never found that audio yet. Never found an actual victim statement. I was never entered into the victim notification system, which is, as I understand it, even if they don't use my statement, as part of the full investigative bit of information of what was used, what wasn't, it's still supposed to go into the victim. I was still the victim, right, of Jeffrey Epstein. Never found, and many people have been looking for it. So there was only half that.
There was a report in the New York Times that the DOJ on Friday had published images of nude women, potentially girls, like they looked young, some of them. I wanted to ask whether any of you in the process of going through the files had come across anything that disturbing.
I haven't seen the nude photos, but I mean, just seeing all the headshots and seeing, I mean, even as I sift through, I did find a couple pictures of myself black. They were redacted, luckily, which was helpful. But just to see that, you get that rush because, like, you know where to fill in the blanks, I guess, and it's really hard to look at because, like, you see an image with just like the border, but the middle of it's black. Sorry. And it's really crazy to, like, you know exactly what that image is, exactly, some of us might still have images like that, right? So it's just crazy to look at, and just, it kind of brings you right back to a place that you were in that, I worked really hard to get myself out of that world and out of that place. And it just kind of, it brings you right back into it. And then it's like, now, I chose to be public because I felt like I had reinvented myself in a different way. I've gotten, decent education. I kept moving into different career aspects and felt strong enough to be able to come back and do this, and now to sit there with some of these images. And again, like I want the transparency of it that needs to be out there. But I know that this is my reaction to a picture that was redacted. I can't imagine being one of those girls that is a Jane Doe, seeing themselves out there in that way with a nude photo that your government put that out there for you. So that is just heartbreaking.
I mean, something I've thought about a bunch of times since our last conversation. You guys might remember I asked you at one point, do you all have any trust that the DOJ will do what it is supposed to do, release all the files by the deadline? And all of you said no, that there's no trust there. Like, were you hoping that you could be maybe proven wrong, or do you just feel like, of course, this is where we're at?
I feel like it's worse.
It's worse.
Yeah, it's worse.
It's worse. It's sorry. It's careless. Go ahead, Charlene. Yeah.
I mean, this is just unacceptable. Naked pictures of girls. The government is releasing this. This is supposed to be illegal. And the redactions could have been done by a 5-year-old. You might as well just go ahead and give them to a grade 3 class. They could do much better than these lawyers. Who are these lawyers? Who are these volunteers?
Who are these people? Yeah,
I mean, they don't know how to read.
Can you guys see? So I don't know if you can see the E, and then that is Hannah Bensky, and then my name is 3 tiers down, and then that's not even the worst of it. The worst of it is, I think, like, well, I don't know if it's the worst of it, but it has my full name, my birthday, my address. The thing that is redacted is Dani in that.
Her nickname.
It's so obviously purposeful.
Yeah.
Because if I were standing in front of Todd Blanche, my question would be, is this really the best job?
Yeah.
Do you deem this a good job? Identifying information like birthdays, social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, full names. Is that as an attorney you deem a job well done? No, this is clearly strategic. Clearly, incompetence is the strategy. Like it is the strategy to intimidate us, I believe, to make us feel like we shouldn't keep going. And no
Dani,
one
the example you just showed is so interesting because somebody did like sit down and redact some things on those pages, but like totally the wrong part. It's a little...
It would have been better if it wasn't redacted at all, right? Then I could totally reason with myself, like, oh, well, this is a page that nobody saw, nobody got to, I get it. And now it feels like, no, this is so deliberate. It has to be deliberate. There's no other way. You can't redact DANIELL and leave the E. And then, like, it's just crazy. So, anyway.
What's next for you guys? What are you guys going to do today, tomorrow?
I think it starts with a letter to Pam Bondi. I think that's the first thing that we can do. I will say, I think all of us are on the same page of we're pretty tired of writing letters. Like, we have written a lot of letters in the last couple of months, but we will write another letter, I think, right? That will be on the horizon.
Demanding that we sit down with her specifically. MJ, we tried to have a meeting with her.
Many times in different capacities.
And have not been able to get one.
Feels like the Department of Injustice. We're victims of a crime. There are, depending on who you're listening to, between 1,000 and 1,200 of us. It feels so intentional and so enormously invalidating that the rage in us is really boiling up. The rage and the determination for us to see justice for these crimes that were committed against us. They can keep saying there's nothing to see here, but we're the victims of these crimes and we know what there is to see. And we're not going to stop fighting until we see it.